Hi everybody.
Welcome to our channel, The Art of Learning Botany, designing your success and shaping the future.
I am Dr. Bijokar Misra, retired Associate Professor in Botany, Department of Higher Education, Government of Odisha. And she is my wife.
I am Dr. Nirupama Das, retired Associate Professor in Botany, Department of Higher Education, Government of Odisha.
Uh, this is our video lessons. We'll be posting video lessons pertaining to botany in this channel, and the video lessons include the chapters of botany for the 11th and 12th class students as per the CBSE and state board syllabi and as per their question pattern. So this is our first video lesson. Here we'll be discussing jointly. In the you can say we'll be posting the video lessons jointly in this channel. And today is the first lesson where we'll be doing starting with the sexual reproduction in flowering plants. Now this sexual reproduction is a big topic. And so many aspects on this. So in this, the main the subtopic is the reproductive part of the plant. Now, before going to the reproductive part, let us know what is sexual reproduction or what is reproduction first. So reproduction is a basic process of found in all living organisms, whether it is a small one or a big one, a plant or animal or a bacteria. Every organism reproduce and reproduce means they multiply their kinds. They produce their kinds of springs. Why do they reproduce? Why they multiply? Because the main objective is for the survival of the species. The species should survive, and through this process, the genetic continuity is maintained. Right. So the genetic continuity is maintained through the process of the reproduction. Understand? Now, coming to the plants. The plants, in which way they reproduce? The higher plants particularly. The higher plants reproduce by vegetative propagation, vegetative methods, and by sexual methods. The vegetative methods where the body parts, they reproduce through the body parts. And sexual methods where they reproduce by the union of sexual units. And you'll find the vegetative propagation. The vegetative propagation is through the body parts, already I have told you, and the stem, the leaves, the roots, they are involved, they are modified for the purpose. And we can also manage the vegetative propagation by grafting, cutting, and tissue culture. In tissue culture, we can produce large number of plantlets, you can say, and that can plant it. Now, the advantage of vegetative propagation or vegetative reproduction is we can produce large number of offsprings and from the vegetative parts. And it's very quick process. It is a very quick process. And the offsprings formed from a single parent are similar. They are called the clone. The siblings of the clone are similar in morphology to themselves among themselves and also the parent, and also they are genetically or characterized, they are similar to each other and also the parents. So you get a similar set of offsprings of similar set of parents, a similar set of offsprings from a single parent. But what happens if we go on continuously doing vegetative propagation? The vitality and vigor of the offsprings gradually diminish. So therefore, we have to go back to the sexual reproduction. Clear? So the next slide we will find the sexual basic features. We can say the basic features of sexual reproduction in the plants. Will find the basic features. What are the basic features of sexual reproduction? Now, in basic feature is that we need reproductive structures. Clear? And the reproductive structure should produce the gametes. And there is a meiosis by which they produce gametes. Because they have to reduce the number of chromosomes. Right? Now, during the process of meiosis, recombination of characters occurs. It is not found in vegetative propagation. Recombination of characters occurs in the sexual reproduction. So therefore, it is a forward force of evolution we can say. And due to the recombination, the offsprings are not similar to themselves, neither to the parents exactly. So they differ in the in their character from the parents. Now coming to the basic features or basic features of the sexual reproduction. Now in the basic features we find uh, there is a need of sexual reproductive structure, first thing. Second thing, there must be a meiosis so that the chromosome will be reduced. And some meiospores, microspores are formed in the male sexual unit, megaspores are formed in the female sexual unit. Now these spores will develop to the respective gametophyte. The male spores will develop to the male gametophyte and the females, the megaspore will develop to the female gametophyte. So the male gametophyte will produce the male gametes, female gametophyte will produce the female gamete called the egg. Now these two, the male gamete and the will unite and by the process of fertilization form a zygote that gives rise to embryo. The embryo develops inside the ovule and that you can say the seed develops, then a fruit develops from the ovary and that leads to dispersion and the seeds germinate to give rise to new plant. This is what we can say the requirement for the sexual completing the sexual reproduction. So now up to this we have to know what is the importance of sexual reproduction and what is reproduction, what is importance, the plants produced by vegetative method and sexual reproduction. Then what is vegetative reproduction, what is the advantage, why should we go for sexual reproduction, and what are the basic features of sexual. Now let us say this question. Now you check yourself. Just pause your video and see what you can answer and then you can match. This is a true and false type of questions. You can get 1 mark here. So plants can reproduce only by vegetative propagation. Is false because plants can also reproduce by sexual reproduction. The individuals of a clone are genetically different. No, because they have been produced. This is false. They have been produced from single parent and vegetative method, so they are not different, they are similar. Now, the sexual units that unite during the sexual reproduction are called spores. No, they are called, so it is false, they are called gametes. The offspring from the sexual reproduction are not the genetic exacts of the parents. Yes, this is true because their recombination has occurred during the process of meiosis. Now, reproduction helps in continuity of the species, right? So it is true. Meiosis occurs in the male gametophyte, false. Meiosis occurs in the before the male gamete, that is during spore formation. So microspores in the higher plants are haploid is true. Microspores are formed by reduction division, so it is haploid. Now we'll see what is the next. Now we'll go to the main or subtopic, that is the structure of the reproductive part of the plant, that is the flower. So structure of the reproductive part of the plant is called the flower. The flower are the most conspicuous part and most attractive part. They are having different shape, fragrance, size, whatever it may be. Mostly they are conspicuous, except the grasses where they are small and not colored. So their objective is to attract or help in facilitating the sexual reproduction process. Whatever the structure may be, whatever the size may be, whatever the set may be, they help in pollination. Then they help in fertilization. They harbor the embryo and produce the seed and the fruit. Okay, so that is the structure is mainly for helping the um, reproduction process, sexual reproduction process. Now let us come and see what is the real structure of a flower. Now in this flower you will find there is, you see the flower. Now this is one portion and this another. You can see the flower is always attached to the mother plant by a by a pedicel. That is called the pedicel is the stalk of the flower by which is attached. In inflorescence, the flowers are small flowers. When suppose for example when the small flowers bunched forming a single flower-like structure, and that case there is sessile, there is no pedicel. But the inflorescence has a stalk that is called the peduncle. In many inferences, you will find the pedicel of the flower. In some inferences, you will not find the pedicel of the flower. Right. So pedicel is the stalk of the flower, peduncle is the stalk of the inflorescence. Now let us come and see the flower in detail. So here, now you see this is the pedicel part. Now the pedicel terminates or flattens to a receptacle or the thalamus, which bears four holes. There are four holes born on the thalamus. If all the four holes are present, then the flower is called the complete flower. What are the four holes? Calyx, corolla, androecium or the male hole, and the female or the gynoecium. So calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoecium. They are present in the thalamus. If all the four holes are present, it is called a complete flower. Clear? Now, if any of the flower, one or two or more holes are absent, the flower is called incomplete. Now, the calyx and corolla hole are called accessory holes because they don't have a direct function in the process of reproduction, sexual reproduction. They just help in attraction or help in pollination like this. But the major hole or the sexual holes are the androecium, the third hole, and the fourth hole is the gynoecium. These two holes are called the essential holes. Clear? Now, when both the essential holes or the male and female holes are present, the flower is called to be bisexual or hermaphrodite. Sometimes you'll find either male hole is absent, at that time the flower is incomplete as well as unisexual female or pistil flower. Sometimes the gynoecium is absent, at that time the flower is incomplete also and called staminate flower. Clear? Now, what we'll find, sometimes the petals and sepals are not distinct, and you'll find a perianth hole, and that hole is called perianth. When the color is not distinct, the hole is called perianth, and the flower is called to be monoclamydous. The flower is said to be monoclamydous. Now let us and we'll go to see the details of the other hole in individual holes. Now we'll go and see the different types of holes. Now first let us come to the accessory hole or the calyx. The calyx is the lowermost hole, you can say, or the first hole, and this is, you see, the calyx. This is the calyx actually, and below the calyx in some flowers you'll find a subhole, you can call the apicalyx. It's found in Malvaceae family, like China rose, lady's finger. So you'll find the apicalyx. Now the calyx, this is the calyx covering the corolla hole inside. Now the individual members of the calyx hole are called sepals. They may be united as it here, they are called gamosepalous, or they may be free, it is called polysepalous. Now the calyx is sometimes modified to a leaf-like structure. One is modified. There is in Mushinda you'll find a colored calyx or sepal. Sometimes you'll find the calyx is modified to pappus, helping dispersal. So there is some modifications occurs. Now you'll find this is what is about the calyx, polysepalous or gamosepalous, and next you'll find the other hole called the other hole is called the corolla hole. So corolla is the second hole. It is the most attractive part, the colored part of the flower. The individual members are called the petals. Petals may be united, gamopetalous, or free, polypetalous. And you'll find various types of uh, petals or corolla hole. But some is belt shaped, some is bi-leaved, some is tubular, some is cruciform. So different types of corolla are found in the plant, flowering plants. Particularly in the dicots, you'll find different types of corolla holes. Okay, and also monocots. That is, you can very well see the orchids. The very beautiful corolla. And now this third hole is the male hole, male sexual hole, that is called the androecium. Then the androecium consists of the individual members, that is the stamen. The stamen has a long style, long filament, and at the end of the filament, you will find top of the filament, you will find the anther. Anther is generally bilobed. in Malvaceae again, you'll find a single lobed anther. Now the anther bears the microsporangia. Very often people call this anther as the microsporangium, but actually microsporangia are present inside the anther. Now the whole thing, the anther and the stamen, or the yes, anther and the filament making the stamen, is called, in a meteorological term, it is called microsporophyll. Okay. Now the anthers, and so the stamens may be united among themselves, adelphous condition, or may be united to others. That is, nearest hole is the petal, or they may be united to the gynoecium. Okay. Now, so therefore, this is the male hole or the third hole. Now, in the next, you'll find the other essential hole, the female hole, which is central hole or the fourth hole, present in the thalamus, and it is called the gynoecium. The member or the unit of the gynoecium is called pistil, and the pistil contains carpel. Carpel has three parts. One is the stigma, which is the receptive part, receives the pollen grains, and the other is the style, the long style that connects the stigma to the ovary, the basal part of the stamen, is a basal part of the carpel. Now you see pistil and carpel. What is the difference here? Carpel is a part of the pistil. If the carpels are free or apocarpus condition, then each carpel is a pistil. So here you find in this point there are three carpels, they are apocarpus condition, and so it is three pistillate. Clear? Tripistillate you can say. So three pistils, each pistil monocarpellary. Okay, but here you see in this case, it is there are three carpels, but they are united, or syncarpus condition. At that time, you find a compound pillar, single pistil with three carpels, tricarpellary, and syncarpus means united. You see there are three stigma here. You find three stigma here and three trilobed. So don't confuse with carpel and pistil. Okay. So if there is one carpel, so it is monopistillate, monocarpellary, no problem. You have tried pistil, monopistillate, monocarpellary. But if it is three carpels, syncarpus, monopistillate here. Right? So you are clear about this. Now, this carpel, the gynoecium hole is the female hole. Okay. Now we'll go to the other portion that is very interesting is the flower. What is a flower? The flower is called the modified shoot. Shoot means vegetative branch. Flower is a vegetative branch modified the purpose of reproduction, you can say, but indifferently. So how you can say that flower is a modified shoot? Now you see, the floral holes are arranged or placed or developed like a leaf. If you see in some flowers, you'll find there a transition between the corolla to stamens. You find change is slightly decreasing in size and becomes a single stalk. Okay. Then the holes are arranged on the nodes, and internodes are very condensed, very condensed, so that you don't find internodes. They are arranged in a concentric manner like the leaves. If you see the petals minutely, if you see the calyx minutely, or the sepals minutely, you find the fan-like structures. Okay. And sometimes the sepal give rise to leaf-like structure, flax leaf, you can say. Becomes a flax leaf-like structure. So this is another point of evidence that flower is a modified shoot. Now you see this diagram, you'll find in this, I'll just zoom it for your convenience. You see, now you see this structure. You see this is a flower. However, this receptacle now grows forward and forms a vested shoot bearing the leaves. So the flower is intercalary here. Now you come to this, you'll find there's a gap, there is internode is more. In gynandrophore is found, the internode is elongated. That means internode is not always can some flowers is elongated. So these points indicate that flower is a shoot modified for the reproductive function. So we can call it as a modified shoot. Now coming to your self-assessment now. Now you can just pause it here and see the questions. And tally the answer with me. Now you say, this is a fill of the blanks. The flower with all four holes is called complete flower or complete. The stalk of the inflorescence is called peduncle, while the stalk of the flower is called pedicel. When both the essential holes are present in the flower, this is said to be bisexual or hermaphrodite. Now, the stamens in the androecium hole is otherwise called as microsporophyll. The anthers and the filament are connected by a connective. The flattened tip of the pedicel is known as thalamus, or you can write receptacle. The pollen grains are received at the stigma part of the carpel. Clear? Now coming to the last one, you'll find correct the statement without changing the underlined words if necessary. Now see, in monoclamadeous flowers, the calyx and corolla are clearly distinct color. You can write, in monoclamadeous flowers, the calyx and corolla are not distinct color, they are similar in color because they are perianth condition. In perianth, what you will find? Tepals. The individual members of the perianth are called tepals. If they are polyphylous, if they are free, and gamophilous if they are united. Now, an incomplete flower is always unisexual. No. Any absence of any part. It may be bisexual and incomplete. Suppose corolla is absent, you can say it is bisexual and incomplete. So, an incomplete flower is not always unisexual. Then anther is otherwise known as microsporophyll. You can write the stamen is, the anther is otherwise known as microsporangium. Sometimes people call it microsporangium, meaning synonymously used as microsporangium. So male gametes are found in the male gametophyte. Yes, male gametes are found in the male gametophyte because the gametophyte means where the gamete is found. So it is true, no need of changing. During male gamete formation, meiosis occurs in the male gametophyte. During microspore formation, meiosis occurs in the microsporangium. Now, a flower with all four holes is called complete flower. A flower with all holes except the androecium. The flower with all holes except the androecium is called pistillate flower or unisexual female. Now, the unit member of the whole gynoecium is called pistil. And the unit membrane of the perianth is called tepal. Clear? So, we have done the assessment. We have studied it. So, what we have studied up to now? What we have studied up to now? Now, we have studied reproduction and its importance, the types of reproduction in the flowering plant, the vegetative methods, and the sexual method. The vegetative propagation, we have little elaborated this. It is a clone. What are the advantages of vegetative propagation? Then we came to know what is the reproductive structure of the plant, the flower. The structure, the basic, the reproductive part of the flower. And flower has a modified suit, and we have answered the different type of certain questions. So, dear friends, if you like it, you can share, you can subscribe, and you can press the bell, or you can click the bell so that you will get our notification when we publish further lessons in future. We'll be publishing regularly different lessons, video lessons for the 11th and 12th classes in the first batch. Okay, thank you. See you for the next video lesson.